Why would Spain spend centuries defending one island? Why would Britain attack it repeatedly? Why would the United States consider it strategically essential? And why, right now, today, does Puerto Rico still sit at the center of military routes, shipping lanes, pharmaceuticals, tourism, and Atlantic logistics? Because Puerto Rico was just never another Caribbean island. It was one of the most strategic locations in the Atlantic world. And honestly, most people still have no idea. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chronicles and Cocktails. I'm Josué, the spirited historian, and today we're talking about something that almost nobody outside of Puerto Rico fully understands. Actually, probably not even inside. Why Puerto Rico mattered so much to empires. Because if you only know Puerto Rico through beaches, cruises, reggaeton, rum, or headlines, you're missing the much bigger story. For centuries, Puerto Rico sat at the center of Atlantic trade, military strategy, imperial competition, naval warfare, and eventually, American geopolitical power. And once you understand the geography, everything starts making sense, including why this island still matters today. And today's cocktail is inspired by exactly that, Puerto Rico as the crossroads of the Atlantic world. Here are the first thing most people miss. Puerto Rico's importance was never about size. It was about positioning. Pull up a map of the Atlantic world. Now, look carefully at Puerto Rico. The island sits at the entrance of the Caribbean basin, meaning if you control Puerto Rico, you could monitor movement between Europe, the Caribbean, Mexico, South America, and eventually North America. That matters, especially in the age of empires. Spain's empire depended on Atlantic shipping, silver from Mexico, gold from South America, sugar, coffee, troops, weapons, trade goods, and much of that movement crossed through the Caribbean. Puerto Rico became part of the defensive shield protecting Spain's Atlantic system. This is why San Juan became important so early. Its harbor was defensible, its geography was strategic, and very quickly, Puerto Rico stopped being just an island. It became infrastructure, military infrastructure, commercial infrastructure, imperial infrastructure. Here's the thing. Empires do not spend fortunes defending places they don't matter. Remember that, because it explains almost everything that comes next. Spain spent centuries fortifying Puerto Rico, not decades, centuries. The construction of El Morro began in the 16th century. Over time, walls expanded, batteries expanded, forts expanded, military systems expanded. San Juan eventually became one of the most fortified cities in the Americas, and there was a reason for that. Everybody wanted it. Sir Francis Drake attacked San Juan in 1595. The Dutch attacked it in 1625. Again, the British launched a major invasion in 1797 under Ralph Abercrombie. Thousands of troops, warships, artillery. This was not piracy anymore. This was imperial warfare. I mean, think about that for just a second. Britain, one of the most powerful naval empires in world history, committed major resources trying to take Puerto Rico. Why? Because controlling Puerto Rico meant influencing the Caribbean itself. That's how strategically important this island was. By the late 19th century, global power was changing. The Spanish-American War reshaped the Caribbean, and after the change of sovereignty in 1898, the United States immediately recognized Puerto Rico's strategic importance, especially after the Panama Canal. Once the canal existed, control of the Caribbean became even more important. Puerto Rico became a military platform, a naval platform, a logistics platform, an Atlantic defense platform. Puerto Rico became America's unsinkable Caribbean platform. And during the 17th century, that mattered enormously. During World War II, German submarines operated in the Caribbean, shipping routes became vulnerable, military infrastructure expanded throughout Puerto Rico, airfields expanded, naval system expanded, and eventually, Roosevelt Roads became one of the most important naval facilities in the Caribbean. And again, geography explains everything. Technology changes. Governments change, empires change, but geography? Geography stays exactly where it is. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming Puerto Rico's importance belongs only to history. It doesn't. Puerto Rico still matters strategically today, economically, militarily, commercially, logistically. Most people have absolutely no idea how connected Puerto Rico is to pharmaceuticals manufacturing, or shipping, or Caribbean logistics, or aviation, or disaster response infrastructure. Puerto Rico remains a major Caribbean port, a tourism gateway, a transportation hub, and a bridge between North America and the Caribbean, including Hispanic America. Even modern communication infrastructure, including undersea internet cables, still depends heavily on Caribbean geography, meaning the island's location still matters, just like it did centuries ago. Sort of like a piña colada, but instead of pineapple, passion fruit. It works really good. The deeper you study Puerto Rico, the harder it becomes to see the island as isolated from world history. Puerto Rico connected trade, war, migration, commerce, culture, and empires for centuries. This island wasn't sitting outside history. It was staging directly in the middle of it. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. Puerto Rico was never just a small island. It was one of the Atlantic's world's strategic crossroads. And honestly, it still is. Today, just look up the news about Venezuela, Caracas, Maduro. And right now, as I'm filming this episode, check out the news about Cuba and how the military has been activated again. I know you have opinions. I know you have knowledge because my audience is very intelligent. And I know that. I see it in the comments all the time. There are things that we might not agree on, but facts and history is there. That's why you can have an opinion, I can have an opinion, but the facts, the history is there. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe, like, and share it. Share it with your friends, with your family. Share it to discuss these ideas. We're discussing history, but also as it is being made today. Leave a comment and tell me what's one thing about Puerto Rico you think that the world still doesn't fully understand. I know there has to be something else. Leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a great Wednesday. Have fun. Go out there and discover the world. Get smart. Be good. Be nice. Go to church. Subscribe. And salud.